everybody. Welcome to World Without Rule of Law and the Southern Virginia Homestead. Today I want to talk about the bug out / ghetto camper trailer. Had its maiden voyage, so I just want to kind of do a debriefing on, things I liked, things I want to improve on, things I could have done differently. So it started, it's actually like 11 days. I left here Friday the 22nd, and I returned back this morning. I got back late morning, or got up late morning, October 2nd. So I started off Friday going up to church in West Virginia where I camped overnight. And then I got up early Saturday and I went up to Pennsylvania to meet up with some friends from YouTube, diggers from Diggers Outdoors. Had a little gathering, and a lot of the Prepper X people were there. It was a great time. We really had a great time. It was laid back. I know I made a video a little bit about it and mentioned it in another video, but there was no agenda. It was just impromptu. It was very nice, very laid back, very relaxed, and I had a great time, and I think everybody else did too. It was really awesome meeting everybody up there. And so from there I went to Connecticut. I got in Connecticut Sunday around 2-3 o'clock, and the church that we belonged to in Connecticut was having a week-long revival, and we had a preacher in from Michigan. He used to, years ago, before I was there, he left 9 years ago actually. Before that he was the youth pastor there for a few years, and he went up to take his own church in Michigan 9 years ago, and he is just a fantastic preacher, great guy, and the messages were good. We had service every night. It's great seeing my old pastor, a lot of our church family up there. My biggest regret of the whole thing was probably that my wife couldn't come with me. She would have enjoyed that for sure, and I know she would have enjoyed meeting the people at Diggers too. But I'll go over a few of the things with the trailer. So I got a 10-foot trailer. I know that I already mentioned that in my other videos. Showed the inside of it and the build. 10-foot cargo trailer. The reason I chose that size is because I have a Toyota Sequoia, so I wanted something that would track nice and pull easily behind the Toyota, and that certainly does. You can't even tell it's there really. And so in that aspect of it, huge success. After I kind of lived out of it for a week, and really all I did was sleep in it because I had full access to the church, but I kind of wish I got a 12-footer. I wouldn't say a regret, but I think all things being equal, another 2 foot wouldn't have hurt me on the towing, and nor on the upcharge and the money. I think it was $200. I think it was $100 more a foot when you had, so like up to a certain point obviously, but to go from a 10 to a 12, I think it was an extra $200. So I think that would have been money well spent, but we're working in a budget, and so you keep adding things. We added the insulation package, you had they charge you for the spare tire, the whole 9 yards. So all in all, happy with the 10-footer. One thing, maybe go with a 12 if I had to do it again. So I get up there, and this was actually a good trip for a maiden voyage because I was able to see some of the kind of gaps I have, or some of the things I need to tweak in the trailer, because I did, my pastor up there gave me full access to the church, and he's just the greatest guy in the world anyway. Like, I mean, it's hard to explain without knowing him, but he's a wonderful guy. He let me move into the bathroom in his office, has a shower, and so they have a prophet's chamber upstairs where visiting missionaries and preachers and stuff can stay. And so normally, like my wife and I had went up there before, we would stay in the prophet's chamber, but because the visiting pastor and his wife were there, they stayed up there. And he also brought, he has 3 kids, and they were with them, and then he also brought his mother, who travels with him, and so she stayed at my pastor's house, and he had they have few spare rooms there, and they offered me to stay there too. But I needed the trailer for diggers anyway, so I want to take it on the Voyage anyway. So and with my back, I like to have the, I got it set up the way I want it. It's very firm with a 4-inch memory foam. It's perfect for me, and I slept like a baby in it. I really did. But all I really used it for was sleeping, and I had power. So it's funny because my friend Ray, he's a church builder missionary. He was up there, and he's on an extended layover up there, and he's got a giant fifth wheel trailer. And so, when I had this trailer parked here and I was doing the interior, I was thinking, oh, this is, a decent amount of room, it's a decent amount of space, it's big enough. I parked it next to his fifth wheel, and it just dwarfed it. And so, I took a big ribbing from a lot of the guys up there, all in fun, we laughed about it, but it was like, the jokes were flying about the size of my trailer. And when you park it next to Ray's, it really even made me think. I parked there, I stood back, I was like, oh man, that's ridiculous. But I parked it so close to his because the plug-in on the building is across the parking lot where people drive around, and I have several cords I could have strung together, but then I said, what, if I park right close to Ray's, I can just use one 25-foot cord and plug into his outside GFI and his camper, and then it just avoided me some hassles. I'd have to run it across the driveway, whatever. So that's what I did. As it turns out, I didn't need the heat or the air conditioning when I was up there because it was the perfect temperature. It was actually a little cool a few nights. It got down to the mid-40s. But I had extra blankets, and I have an electric heater. I could have used it if I wanted it, but I chose not to, and I was fine. I was fine sleeping, and I actually slept like a baby. One night it poured, and you could listen to the rain on the roof, and I made reference to it before, but it's like a tent on wheels. It's like a thunderstorm-proof tent on wheels, basically is what it is. So you're not really going to live in it, you're just sleeping in it. But again, I had full access to the church, and my pastor let me move into his bathroom. He had a shower in there, and I wash up, brush my teeth in there, and downstairs in the fellowship hall, there's a big men's room, no shower, but bathroom facility for me to use freely. Kitchen, there's heat and AC down there. There's a washer and dryer down there. So, really, they gave me the password for the Wi-Fi. It was all the luxuries of home there. And so I just had to go out and sleep in the camper at night. And again, I slept very, very well. But so a few things, because I stayed in a church in West Virginia. And again, these pastors from these churches, I just emailed them. I never met them before. And this one in West Virginia, what a great guy. I just talked to him on the phone for about 20 minutes. But he said, come anytime you want. And they told me, pull right up next to the building. There's outlets there you can plug in. And the church in Pennsylvania, the same thing. But when I got there late at night on Saturday night, and the GFI would trip. It was on a pole. Every time I plug in my trailer, it would trip, and I'd reset it and it'd trip again. So I ended up running with no power, and that's okay because I'm set up to do that. It was actually a nice test. So I have a little power pack, one of those little things you jump your car with, and you can, it has USB and it has a little inverter with a 110, and so I was able to use that for the stuff that I need overnight, and now it's not going to run a heater or an air conditioner, but for colder weather we are going to get a propane heater. It's on our list, so it's really just air conditioning that we're going to lack when we're off grid, and so at the right time of the year that won't even be a problem. If we had to bug out or disaster struck in the middle of August and it was 90 something degrees and high humidity, well, I mean, at that point it's survival. What are you going to do? You just make the best of it. But if we choose to go camping, it would be this time of year where the AC is not so crucial. And so that's one thing, is the power. So I toy with the idea of doing like solar panels and battery packs and building a little system on there. I don't know if I could still, if I get to the point where that would run the AC, it might be worth doing it. If not, I don't really think I need it, because you go, now if I was going to go for weeks at a time, and I would need a way to charge that power pack, or do without the camera and the laptop and all that. The phone I could charge right off the car. So there's options for everything. We have battery powered lights in the camper, so the lights aren't an issue. I want to get a little solar powered fan that goes in the vent, and I got a window. It's like a 24 by 32 or 28 by 36, something like that. And I'm going to cut that into the back door. So that's another modification. I lost over a week. It rained every day before I left here with that hurricane, so I didn't get a chance to quite do everything I wanted to. And the window I was kind of on the fence about, and still am, but I think I'm going to cut it in. But I certainly didn't need it this time of year. So, and with the AC and the heat, if you have a place to plug in, you never really need it. So I knew that was going to be the case at the church, so it wasn't that crucial. I got to finish some trim inside there. I want to work on some more storage things, some different shelving options, and I want to paint the interior, do the trim. Like the bed folds up lengthwise. There's down the middle, both sides fold up, and you can access the storage. Or there's two little doors on the end. I know I showed it to you before, but what I'd like to do is cut those fold ups down. So instead of two big ones, there's two, or maybe even six littler ones. That way, if we want to access something that we access more readily, instead of moving the whole mattress off to open the one side, I could just peel the mattress back and hold it up and lift one of the sides up. And that'll just make it more convenient to access certain parts of the store. So little ideas like that I came up with from trying to get in there and having to move the mattress. Like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if this was a little smaller? And so I want to make a few modifications along those lines. The other thing is, and it wasn't an issue at the church because there was a coffee maker and I would go in and make my coffee every morning, but off-grid I need a way to make coffee. So I got a Stanley coffee press and it really works good. I love it, but I need a way to heat the water. So at first I thought, oh, maybe get one of those little backpacker stoves. Those little, just a little single, because they make them small to fit in a backpack, and I can just put my thermos right on there. It's stainless steel, my coffee press, and I can heat the water right up in there. And then, add the grounds and plunge it down and make the coffee. Then I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, why not just get a little camp stove that runs like off propane bottles, and this way here I can fry eggs if I wanted to, or, potatoes or whatever. So I think we're going to look into something along those lines for that. A porta potty's another thing. Again, being a man, having to pee. The other, not to get too graphic, I'm pretty regular, so I can plan that around that pretty easily. Same time every day. So I was traveling. When I was at the church, it wasn't an issue. When I was traveling, I stop in the morning and get gas, do that, and then now if my wife's traveling with me, then it becomes a little more of an issue. So probably just going to go with like a 5-gallon pail with a toilet seat lid on it, and just get a big bag of chips or sawdust, a few inches open, and take some water, and then we can take the toilet seat off and put a lid on it between trips and manage the odor that way. And of course, you can leave it sit outside overnight next to the trailer. So I think that we're going to end up doing something like that for that. So it's all pretty basic stuff, right? It's funny because last night, I was parked in Walmart. I was, as I have been privileged to be several times, a guest on Backwoods Law's Monday night live stream on Prepper X. And so I'd hit a traffic jam and I'd planned to be further along, and I ended up having to stop. So I said, well, I'll pull in a Walmart and I'll camp here, and then I'll be available for the live stream. And so we were talking a little bit about it, and he said he saw a video where a guy had a trailer with some of them make the drop down ramp, and he reversed it so that instead of dropping down, it lifted up, and he made a little like awning, kind of hard awning. And I thought, wow, that's a great idea. Now for me, I have the barn door, so that's not going to work for me. Had I known that or thought of that, that's another maybe thing I would have changed. Maybe I would have got the ramp and done that, because I like that idea, but I didn't. I got the barn door. So I do want to do some kind of awning. Now the door opens only a few inches short of the roof, and it's the whole width of the camper, so it slides out. So that awning, that door has to clear that awning, so it can't just come off and angle down like a shed roof. It would have to go up on a frame, or just make it off the side of the camper. That's an option too, because when we're camping off grid or whatever, I'd like to be able to put a chair out there and sit out there even if it rains. Go out there and sit down and cook or do whatever, even if it's raining. So I want to have some kind of awning, design some kind of awning system as well into it. So that's just another little mod I want to make to it. The other thing is, I talked to Backwoods Law about this, and he mentioned that Nina from Southern Ark Homestead had one. It was a solar shower, and so she said she got hers at Walmart, and they're pretty inexpensive. So I'm going to look into that. He couldn't remember if they were 5 or 10 gallon, and they were chatting about it. She might have said, I'll have to go back and look at the chat. But anyway, I can just check it out when I go there. But if they're 5 gallon, I probably need to get 2 of them. One for my wife and one for me. If they're 10, we could probably make do one night with 10. If it's hot out in the summer and you're out doing stuff, it'd be nice just to rinse off before you go to bed, kind of, wash the sweat off you or whatever. And so that's something I want to look into as well. But just a few little things like that. Other than that, it's pretty good to go. I think as we go and as we camp off grid, we'll find some more things probably that we need to do. Again, having the church as a backup was a lifesaver, because I could say, oh, well, if I was off grid, I would need a way to make this coffee. Oh, I could do this. But it wasn't like I'm stuck there now with no way to make coffee, because I did have the kitchen in the church, and I had the shower, I had everything. So it was really a good setup. But I just wanted to share that all with you. It was a great time, just to re-mention it again. I had a great week. I visited some old friends, some old church family friends, and my pastor up there, and heard some really great preaching. It was a really great revival series. I got to meet the people from X Nation, or from Prepper X there, and at Digger's meetup. That was great. The whole trip, start to finish, really was awesome. And so in the future, I'm gonna do some more mods to the camper, and none of them are crucially time sensitive, so it's not like any of them are going to happen today. I got tons of stuff to catch up on here still, and trying to finish the house and certain things in there, so I've got my deadlines and my things I got to meet, so the trailer is going to kind of be on the back burner. But look in the future for some updates and some mods and some upgrades that I'm going to do there with that. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for following me along on my journey. Appreciate it. Love you all. God bless you.
The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God.